All right, welcome back. We're live again, this time for our debate with the ISO, International Student Officer for Welfare. We're in our
Well,
MUISS part of the debates for these 4 days. So just before we go ahead, I'd just like to go through the itinerary for today. We got our intro, then we get 5 minutes of opening statements from Shehzad, our candidate, and then we have a Q&A with a previous office bearer, Darsumin, who's joining us, and we'll have a Q&A from the audience. So if you're watching, do put your questions in the comments, and we'll pass them along to Shehzad to answer. And then to round it off, we'll have our closing statement. And yeah, that'll be it for this debate. So welcome everyone. I'd just like to quickly introduce Shehzad, who's our candidate for the ISO welfare position. So Shehzad, you got 5 minutes. Take it away with your opening statement.
thank you so much, Reese. Thank you so much. Welcome. I'm Shahzad. You can call me Shahzad. I've been studying arts and science. I have majors in communication and global studies. I'm in my second year. It's been a little hectic doing online, but so far so good. Yeah. So yeah, I have few points which I wanted to make before my speech. Um, the main point would be regarding communication, which is in my manifesto as well. The communication is something which I firmly believe has to be involved in not just my manifesto. We've been talking through our team discussions as well. This is one of the things we've been coming up with for this election, and which we want to be firmly there in our manifestos and our discussions for the future as well. So if I talk about mental health, let's talk about mental health, yeah. Which talking about as a candidate for welfare, which I believe mental health has been an issue which, of course, previous officers have been taking initiatives to do something about that. But as a future candidate, I firmly believe I have a few initiatives which I want to take forward. Of course, my previous officer, Dasmi, I have been speaking to her, and she has actually done magnificent for this her tenure. And I want to take some of her experiences and some of her things she initiated forward to my tenure as well. But with discussing in future, we will discuss about that as well. I personally will discuss with Destiny how to actually make some changes in her initiative, and make it better than what we had in these past few years. Yes.
All right. If that is all, is that all you have to? Is that all, Shehzad? Should we move on to the
Yeah.
next part?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sure, fantastic. So moving on, we're going to be going into the Q&A with the previous office bearer. So it's my honor to introduce Darsumin, who has joined us today. Uh, Unfortunately, she won't have a camera on. So yeah, take it away, Darsumin, with your questions for Shehzad.
Hi everyone, my name is Irsmin Khan and I'm third year first semester. Um, I have few questions to that. I
Yeah.
You said that you want to work on the communication with students, right?
Yeah.
And that is one of the biggest problems that we face in the welfare department specifically. I've
Mm-hmm.
already created many mediums in which
Mm-hmm.
like students can communicate with us, but
Mm-hmm.
the problem is they never do. No one
Exactly.
actually
Exactly my point.
reach out to
Exactly my
us.
point. Because
So what
look,
are the
yeah. Sorry to cut you off.
no no what are the initiatives that you're planning to do to make this better? The
For
communications
example,
between yeah,
yeah.
go
For
ahead.
example, yeah. Thank you. So as I saw from my experience as an international student, what I experienced is, of course, we have MUSA MUISS there for us, but it's not out there to actually go and talk to them. That's what I firmly believe. And if you notice, I talked about mental health and communication in the first place, and getting feedbacks from them is, and making it more efficient in a way where they have more faith towards us, and they can actually talk to us in the first place, there rather than we getting to know about it from others. I personally believe I should get to know about them from the first person view, or from them itself. I there has to be, what I believe, there has to be a phase of confidentiality, which is still not there. And I my initiatives would, of course, what you did is actually magnificent. I personally respect what you did for this year, but being it online, I personally believe you couldn't do it as much as you wanted to. But hopefully for us, it would be on campus, and I think I'll have more. I would say I would say more advantage in a way where I can actually do something more than just being online or having feedback online. I can personally meet them, or make time for, like, for example, have a mental week day, or like mental week or something like that. A week just focusing on one particular thing and helping the students to actually come forward and do something about that.
All right, I'll just jump in here really quickly. If uh, this is going to be like a back and forth. Yeah, you guys are going to be asking questions to each other. I would urge you guys to let each other finish the question
Yeah,
or finish the
yeah, my
statement
bad.
before jumping in and
Yeah, my bad.
trying to get your word in. So yeah, just keep this civil,
Definitely,
guys. All right.
definitely.
Right. So Darsmin, you can continue with your next question.
Okay, okay. I actually agree with you. We did have a disadvantage over the fact that we had to do everything online. But the thing is, I think, but what I really want to ask you, like, what exactly are you planning to do? Like, what exactly are your initiatives? Like, I came up with a students hotline service and some, like, initiatives like that. And we have our own WhatsApp business group where people can text us and talk to us like face to one-on-one. And then there's an anonymous option. The thing is, people actually don't like come and talk to you. How do you plan on doing that? You get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
of
what
course.
exactly are you planning to do?
I mean, to be honest, if I speak generally towards you, we're still in a way we're actually learning about more what to do towards it. But hopefully, what I believe is we can create a, you can say, if it's on campus, we can have specific days or specific places we can actually. I personally would be there for the people, because being here for 8 months, and knowing almost students here, almost, you can say, these two sems I personally know them, and I want to be like, and it's not a one person job, to be honest. What I feel, we can actually involve, like, we have subcoms as well, but why not actually have more people doing something like. I personally believe if I'm a welfare officer, I can have my friends helping me towards it. Like, I live in Samay Monash, yeah. I can have my friends working towards welfare. It's not just a one person job. We can segregate the responsibilities, not the main responsibilities, of course, but some responsibilities towards welfare. Like, I can tell my friends to go around. Like, I can have banners going around. Like, this is the day we need we have these responsibilities, or we have these events going on. Please join us. Of course, as a person, as a student, I wasn't as involved in these events as well, because I didn't feel it's that useful. But as the events I'm planning, or I will plan in future, I want the students to think it's actually benefiting them, not just being there as an event, or like taking money from the students. Of course, many of our events, as the team has discussed, we will have some events which are completely free for the people, especially for the mental health. Why to take money from people who are suffering, and then actually make them pay for it? That's what I believe. And if you still consist with the question of how are you going to do it, I'm really sorry, I can't really answer that right now. But hopefully in future we have so many things coming up. I'm sure your team as well then discuss or plan everything in one day. It's a long way to go. We still have to get elected, and hopefully we will get elected.
Okay, that's great. I really hope things work out for you. I have one more question. Why do you think it's necessary to have MUISS welfare officer when we already have two MUSA welfare officers.
Yes, yes. For what I feel is Musa majorly works for everyone, of course. It's the same question I can ask everyone here. Why to have Muiz when we have Musa? Why should we have Muiz when we have Musa? Of course, because for the segregation, for basically having our focus, more focus just on international students rather than having it for the whole community as the student community. Because it's a big community. If you notice, we of course I personally know the Musa welfare officers which are hopefully getting elected, but honestly it's a big task for two people handling the whole university. That's why I said like having having MUISS as a team and having welfare officer in MUISS, it's it's actually beneficial just for the students, not for the sake of getting a position in student council. For me, it's benefiting the international students because they would have one person to go rather than having one person for the whole community, not just for locals but international as well. This we segregate. Musa working for the local, of course, and for the international. We as a team is not just Muiz. It's Muiz and Musa. So we work together as a team for the progress of the student community.
Okay, that's great. That's it for me. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Darsamin, for joining us today. Moving on, we'll be moving straight to the questions from the audience. Unfortunately, we haven't got any questions yet. So if you are watching, feel free to drop your questions now for Shazad, and he'll answer them. But if right now we don't have any questions, so Darsamin, if you still have any more questions, any anything that's just come up, you can always jump in now and ask Shazad as well.
Okay, okay.
Why
So
not
yeah,
actually
while
create? I'm sorry. That's me. Why not actually create this as a discussion where you can actually help me understand more about the responsibilities and what you did in your experiences, since we don't have questions from the viewers.
we've actually just gotten a question.
Oh
Speak of the
wow.
devil. Kimia Gandhiani asks, someone is
Oh,
bullying me
that
and
girl,
calling me
man. Oh
fat.
my God.
I come to you. What do you do? So that's a question for you, Shazad. Take it away.
Someone's bullying me and calling me fat. I'll come to you. What do you do? Wow. You know, that hit me because we have some past experiences. That's why she asked me that. Oh, God. Someone is bullying me and calling me fat. I come to you. What do you do? Of course, work towards helping her. In the first place, in being in a university, you need to respect everyone's personal appearances. What we have, of course, we have opinions, but our opinions doesn't. We have no rights to actually show our opinions or put our opinions on someone else. If someone is calling you fat, that's an offense. That's an offense, and we need to talk about that. Of course, bullying is a big thing. It's actually illegal to have like it's an offense. It's a criminal offense if you bully someone, and that is somewhat like I believe shouldn't be in the university. And I will talk about it. Ra- Rather going and like creating a big fuss about it, I would personally first I would talk to them. Why did they do it? Do if okay, being honest, if a friend calls you that, it's fine, unless it's being serious. But again, if it's something which is actually hurtful to many people and it's actually causing disruption in the university or the working of the university, of course, as a welfare officer, I have to go and talk to them. Okay, dude, this is not the way you can do this, and why is it happening? Why is it happening recurring again and again? Like there has to be some issue with the guy who's bullying as well. So we need to talk to them and the victim. So yeah. Kimi, I will talk to you afterwards.
We've got another question now from
Yeah.
Jesslyn Clarissa. Yes, MUISS serves international students. That much we all know. But why is it important to provide an exclusive service for international students?
To create a platform which is specifically just for international students. I've said this before and I've said it. I'm saying it again. to have a specific view on just international students and focusing on their well-being. I'm not saying, of course, local students have to be there and their well-being is must as well. As much as we respect locals' well-being, we have to respect the international students' well-being as well. So if MUSA is focusing on more MUSA, your local students, we as MUISS, we have to focus more on international students because look, in the end, you you in the sense local students have somewhere to go and talk to people because if I'm a local, I have my parents just in Malaysia. Okay, I'll speak to them. That's fine. I can have therapists coming to my home, but being away from home, it's a big thing. As an international student, as an international student, I know how it feels to be homesick. The first 1 month, I cried so much missing my parents, and I can firmly believe like there are many students out there, international students especially, who are homesick, and that will cause a lot of problems for their studies as well. Why create a problem with first of all we came here to study and why create a problem for just basically the first priority they have and why not actually clear it out as soon as they reach Monash, Malaysia.
All right, we've just gotten another question as well from Kiran D. Nair. You just asked your predecessor to brief you on the responsibilities. Does this mean you weren't previously aware of what your job scope would be taking up this position?
No, of course not. Of course not. If I talk about responsibilities, that doesn't mean I don't know my responsibilities. It just means as I firmly personally believe learning from your elders or learning from your experienced people is beneficial for your future. So if I talk about my responsibilities, I want to know more in the sense I know my responsibilities, but what else can you actually tell me about something? Maybe because Damasine's tenure is finishing very soon in 3 months. Maybe she has planned something for 6 months. Maybe I can take it over and actually it would benefit the students. It's not something we're fighting over. It's not like Damascene and I are fighting over the position. It's we helping each other to actually help the student community. So why not if she has some events planned for 6 months in future, but her tenure is over. Why not actually talk about that and actually, you know, take it forward?
All right, thanks for the answer. We got another one from Balsam Ahmed Shimao. You mentioned that you would like to reach out to students on your own. How would you ensure that they trust you and see you as someone who can assist with any issues, concerns, what that they have?
I mean, the first thing is we have to build a trust. That is the main priority here. We need to we need to do something where students actually feel comfortable talking to us. I mean, the way I think about how Damascene actually told me right now, just us, how she faced this problem where people are not actually approaching her. We need to clear that off. We need to think about why is it happening. For me, what I believe is just the lack of communication we're having. The faith is totally not there because I just came 9 months back to Malaysia and I personally I don't think I was confident enough to actually go to a welfare officer or any officer or any office bearer to actually talk about my personal problems going on, and I did have many problems as everyone does, but we need to build that confidence in students. Like if I'm coming to campus and I am not actually very comfortable in my own campus, what is the issue there? We need to talk about that. We need to understand where's the issue arising there.
All right, we've got another question from Jesslyn Clarissa.
Yeah.
What are the new initiatives that you have planned for this year that is unique to you and isn't passed down from Darsuni?
Um, New initiatives, as my manifesto would say, communication, which would be, for instance, I've been talking to many IT students, and it would be somewhat an extra help towards their studies as well. I'm planning to build an app, not a professional app, of course, but an app which can, for example, Damascene did have something where she took feedbacks from people anonymously, but I want an app where we can actually have therapists in contact with the students who are having mental issues, and then having the feedbacks there, and it would be totally free. We would have something to give to the students who actually making the app. Of course, we would have something just for the students, which is totally free for them.
All right. So right as of now, there aren't any more questions. So to the audience, if you still have any more questions on your mind, please comment and we'll pass them along to Shazad. Oh, unfortunately, Darshmi's just left the call. I was just about to ask her if she had any more questions. But yeah, as of now, we haven't got any more questions. If we'll just give the audience a moment. If they have any more, they can drop it in the comments now, and we'll pass it on to Shazad. Okay, we just got a question in. All right, from Jesslyn again. Is this how you're going to approach? Oh, okay. Got two questions. All right, two questions.
Mhm.
I guess it's hang on, let me just see here. Okay, I guess these questions are related to each other. So earlier, when Mobina or Kimia asked you about the fat problem, why did you make it seem like it was a problem that she herself created instead of providing her comfort? And the follow up to that is this how you're going to approach students in the future?
No, of course not. Kimia, personally, I believe we have personal relationship going on. I'm a good friend with her, and somewhat it was not exactly. Of course, bullying is a big offense, and the way I answered wasn't to actually offend anyone. It was in the starting. It was just a conversation I'm having with my own personal friend. And if you're talking about if that's the approach I'm having with people coming to me as with their problems, of course not. Of course not. Bullying is not something I have to laugh about or we have to laugh about. We need to take a step forward and do something about that.
Okay, moving on to the next question from Avril. Avril Evita. How would you differentiate between your personal and professional life, since being a committee is pretty much a 24/7 job?
It depends on person to person, to be honest. I literally was talking to my committee members right now, and half an hour back I had a 25% assignment. I just finished it. It's up to the person how they take the responsibility. And I firmly believe I can take the responsibility. I mean, look at me. I just finished an assignment and I'm in a speech, and just after the speech I have another 20% assignment. It depends on person to person. These experiences working as a student council member or having a job or anything, it just teaches you life basically. Because the life we have right now is not the same we'll have in 10 years. We'll have responsibilities and actually more responsibilities than these. So if if we're asking ourselves how would we take the responsibilities, it depends on person to person. And you need to work hard. Definitely, you need to work hard. There are times where I feel like I don't have a lot of time in my hand. I believe I have like only 6 hours in my life right now in a day. So it depends. You need to take the commitment. You need to be committed to something and do something. Yes, responsibilities are there. Sometimes you feel it's a bit hectic. That is definitely there. But in the end, by the end of the day, why are you doing it? There has to be a you know an understanding between just yourself, like why are you doing something and how is it helping you. As a welfare officer, I genuinely feel as a major in communications as well, it is something I want to do in future as well, and I want to pursue as a career. So it is generally helping me understand more people and how I can actually approach things. Like for example, how I just in just this speech I understood how something with which is to me it's a personal understanding with a friend, but for the other it may come off as rude, and I'm very sorry for that. That is not what I meant, or that is not what I wanted to wanted you to perceive as. Is something was very personal to me, and see, look, it's just small experiences, small things which actually teaches many things.
All right, and we have
Actually,
thanks for
have
the answer.
actually have one
Oh,
last question. Can I ask? Do we have
all right,
time?
sure, yeah, sure. Well, we'll go for your question, then we'll have one more question from the audience, and we'll move on from there.
Okay.
Go ahead,
So,
Darshmi.
Shazad, one of your responsibility is to connect international students to the counselors. So, most of the time, the counselor are fully booked. And if someone needs a professional help, what are you going to do about it?
I've generally thought about that, and I have some therapists in line where I'm speaking to them, and I'm talking how we can actually help our student community to have more, because in the end we have to think about students' time as well. No one has all day to actually go to a therapist. Why not actually have therapists in line waiting for the people to actually approach them? And that's why if the counselors in the university are not free, I personally have made contact with therapists which will help and be there 24 hours. Yes.
All right. So moving on from that to Kieran, she's got another question. Could you elaborate on specifically how you would differentiate between your personal and professional life, as Avril's asked? Your answer has been very general so far, and I'd also like to bring in a question from Jesslyn. She's also said the same thing. I agree with Kieran. You've been conveying very little words. Can you please answer in essence instead of telling us what we already know? I guess they're asking
Uh,
for you to be a little bit more specific.
yeah. But can I go to the previous question? I didn't read that. I
Is
mean,
everything okay?
to be honest, yeah, yeah, okay, thank you so much.
Go ahead.
I don't, I don't think I have to elaborate more on my personal life, because being a professional, I don't think my personal life would or should matter what I do in my professional life. Of course, as a you can ask me questions regarding my position or the position I will have in future. But if you ask me about my personal life, that is a bit, I would say, uh, not benefiting you in return as well, because knowing my personal life wouldn't affect you as much as it would affect you knowing my professional life.
Okay, yeah, sure. Moving on to the next question from Balsam. How will you make sure there is no biasness when dealing with issues, as not everyone who approaches you will be a friend or an acquaintance?
Exactly, the like the previous question I answered. My personal life would be separate than my professional life. I mean, the MUISS members I have, or the MUSA members I have, I had previous relationships with them as friends or anyone, but that doesn't mean that would affect my professional life. As a professional, I have to act as a professional, be it as my friend in front of me, asking me questions, or as a welfare officer being there for them. I need to act as a professional rather than being a friend to them, or be, including my personal life with them in my professional life. So as I reiterate, my personal life would be very separate than my professional life, be it doing something for them or any way regarding that.
All right, so there aren't any more questions as of now from the audience. Darshini, is there anything else you would like to ask? Otherwise, we can move on to the closing statement.
No, no, I'm all
All
good.
right, okay,
Thank you.
okay, sure. All right, so I guess we can move on to the your closing statement, Shazad. You've got 5 minutes. Take it away.
I mean, closing statement would I have honestly not prepared anything for my closing statement, but what I understood from the the speech right now, the live broadcasting, the main uh, the main confusion right now, what I see is understanding more about how my uh, it's a general question, and it's a bit like it's okay to be curious about that, how one person could actually separate their personal life from their professional life, but that's what we have to learn. Like everyone has to one in one point of their life they have to understand, okay, some things have to meant to be professional and some things are meant to be personal. That's what I believe. And in my closing statement, I would again reiterate the thing that I want communication and mental health to be one of the main issues I want to take forward as a welfare officer. And what I believe they go hand in hand. If the main problem, if you have mental health issues, it has to be because of lack of communication. And what I believe, I would have to start with building up communication within the students. And of course, building the faith that they can come towards the officers or the officers and talking about their problems. and giving them the trust or the faith that it would be anonymous, not going out there and everyone knowing about your problems. Of course, that no one would want that for anyone.
All right. I guess that means we've come to the end of this debate. Thanks to all who tuned in to watch this. We'll be coming back. We'll be returning later at 4:30 for the MUISS Country Representative Officers. So yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.